Hi there, it's Roger V, founder of Swift Web Designer, and I want to give you a quick overview of the new system. Now, the agenda of this video is three things. One, I want to direct you where to find help. Two, I want to let you know that the emails will stop. We're going to send you a blast of emails right now. And the reason that we do that is we want to put each sort of relevant task into one email and then let you work on it on your own schedule. And so that way you can work on the email, complete the task, and get that thing set up, whatever that task is, and then just delete the email or archive it. Now, every single one of those tasks can be found, but we've done this so many times. We've developed over 100 websites, and now we're doing several a day in some cases. So we sort of have seen what everybody pretty much needs, and it seems like everybody has 20% unique needs and 80% the same needs. Then those emails will help you get some of the most common tasks set up. So in addition, you can always contact us through support, and 99% of the time we have already answered the question, and we've probably already made a help video for it. So we've made help videos for almost everything, and if there isn't a help video made, it's because it's so simple that a help video isn't even needed. And some of our clients can barely use a mouse, and if that's you, no worries, you're in good hands. So let's get started. So first off, here's our website. And our website actually runs on the same exact structure as yours. And we do that to make sure that you've got the best possible product. We're not holding any punches or holding things back from you. So one of the most important things, if you only walk away from one thing, it's this button right here, Support Center. I want to draw your attention to it. What you can do, and I noticed that I right-clicked. So what I did is I right-clicked and I opened in a new tab. So if you're not used to browsing in tabs and you're using, it doesn't matter if you're using Internet Explorer or Firefox, all browsers have tabs now. And it's just a helpful way to navigate and move around multiple different pages faster. Now this support page is deceptively simple looking, and you also have access to this. It's called the knowledge base. What you can do is get to this window and just start searching for anything you want to do. So if you want to search, let's say you want to work on your navigation, here you go, how to edit your navigation, right? If you want to know how to set the name servers, right? Again, here you go. You just, whatever you want to type, there's probably a video for it, and you just click on it, and it's going to bring up everything relevant to that. You just click on it, and again, it's going to bring up a video about that specific exact topic. And anytime you have a question that's not on there, contact us. We're not going to email, we're not going to answer you personally. What we're going to do is update this page and then refer you to it. And we do that so that we only have to answer the questions once. And like I said, 99% of questions have already been answered. You can also find things here just by dropping down under support. So if you go to support, frequently asked questions, those tend to be pre-sale type of questions. And support help tends to be more demanding type of questions that are related to setup. Nonetheless, you may find some go back and forth, and all of them are in the search section. You can just use this search window here as well. So that's agenda number one, which is to where to find help. Anything you want to know on any Swift property. Doesn't matter if it's Swift Books, it doesn't matter if it's Swift CRM, Swift Web Designer. You can always just go to support and click on the support center and find the help that you need. Next, let's get into the websites. So this is the backend control panel. This is your control panel. Now, again, with this, no action is required. Right? So just sit back and relax, and let me show you around a little bit. And then when it comes to taking action on the specifics, let me first kind of walk you through the front door, and then you can explore on your own. So this is your general dashboard. This is your website dashboard. On your website, if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can always get to this by clicking Admin Panel. Now, I happen to be logged in at the moment, so I also have some controls here. Now, I'm a super admin, so I've got a lot of different websites here that I can jump to at any moment. You're going to probably just have one, or maybe you'll have a two or three or whatever. You can use these to edit your site, right? So if you wanted to add a page, you could just do it like this. Now this gray bar here at the top is only going to appear when you are logged in. If you're not logged in, go ahead down here to Admin Panel, Swift CRM. There are certain things like forms that are found in Swift CRM, and email is going to be tied to your that's actually going to open Google Apps. So let me take you through a quick tour. First, I want to give you something important, which is pages are evergreen and posts are timely. And this system is incredibly complicated and sophisticated and powerful code layered on top of WordPress. And what that means to you is literally the same system that other people have paid thousands of dollars, in some cases even tens of thousands of dollars, to have built. And you've got all that power under the hood. So what that means to you is you've got the search engine sort of magnetics that will help you get found. You've got the ability to generate landing pages. There's a ton of things that you can do with this system. And you don't need to build Rome in a day. So just sort of get your feet wet as you go and learn it as you go, and you can delegate some of this to your staff if you prefer. Also, a quick analogy, our goal is to have you drive. We just want to have you learn to drive, and that really includes adding and updating basic content of your website. When it comes to the functionality, when it comes to building the car or knowing how every single part works, that is usually our job. If you are ambitious, you certainly can, and you will find everything related to the entire design of your website housed within Swift CMS. None of our clients ever get FTP access to anything because you truly don't need it. Every single control for every single client is housed within Swift CMS. Layered on top of the WordPress, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Mostly, you're going to probably stay out of there. So let's take a look at just the basics. First, this is Google Analytics, and that's going to show you how people are getting to your website. You'll see which pages are most common. You'll see how many people per day are hitting your website. There's not that much traffic to this, but it's a good sort of base. And you can see kind of where your traffic is coming from. So you just need to set that up. You're going to probably see a blank screen here initially because you need to tie that to Google Analytics, and that's going to be one of the emails. And it's free, and it's incredibly powerful, and it's easy to set up, so just follow the directions in the email. This is your sort of general overall dashboard. All of these things can be moved, by the way. If you decide that you want to put them in a different order or something like that, go ahead and drag them around. You're not going to break anything. It's your system. Also, if you ever mess up and your navigation suddenly disappears, it's because you hit this button. Don't worry about it. This little tiny button right here will make that come back. You can always right-click and open a new tab. Your title up here, we're going to start skinning this pretty soon and putting more help files. You'll also find help files that are contextually specific up here. So we're going to be adding a few more tabs for help videos and stuff like that. We're also going to put links back to the CRM. Forms are generated on the CRM. Here's what I mean. This is a form, right? This is a form. This is actually generated in the CRM and then dropped in this case using a shortcode, in this case using a widget. I'll show you what that is in a moment. This entire sidebar is a widget system, and the footer is a widget system as well, where these are all drag and drop sort of pieces that you can dump into place. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So first, let me give you just the overview. Now, when people talk about blogging, they're referring to posts. So you notice that anytime throughout this program, anytime I mouse over posts, you'll see this little arrow appear. And that can just save a little time. So if I want to drop a new post in, if I want to make a new blog post, this is where I would do it. You might want to first give some thought to your categories. Categories can include news. You can also nest your categories. So auto mechanic is a subset of automotive in our case, right? And that's useful just in terms of keeping your content organized. And we've got all these different categories. So you just add one in. If you see one that says uncategorized, just go ahead and click it. Just click edit, and you can bring it up. Now the parent, and what you do is, so in this case, if you want auto mechanic parented to automotive, you just define the parent right here. Again, you don't need to take action. All of this stuff you'll see later. I just want to give you a quick overview. You can click this throughout the program to highlight a whole group. And of course, you can search right up here. Post tags, that's useful for search engine optimization. It's also helpful for people to navigate between multiple blog posts. So let's say you're looking at something about mortgage rates, right? Then you might want to tag it as mortgage rates so that all your rates information go together. You also have the ability, if you add the Twitter plugin, which is under the plugins section, so you can just go here and turn on plugins or turn off plugins. And we'll touch on plugins more. We've already preloaded just a few of the very basic plugins for you, and we have over 100 plugins pre-installed and maintained for you. We also keep them constantly updated to keep your system secure. So you don't need to worry about any of that stuff. And if you're looking for a specific feature, we may tell you to enable plugins, or you may find that references to that in the help file. Anyway, that's where that is. So let's say that we want to add a new blog post, and that might be who knows, a sale. Again, it's generally timely information. These sidebar sections can be closed if you choose to. So if they look like this, then you just mouse down and click that little arrow. And this is where you would add a post, right? So you could add sale this week on goldfish, right? Or whatever it is. You also may see this section. If your bar looks like this, just go ahead and click on this. It'll give you a few more controls. If you want to add a picture in, this is where you would do it. This is where you can add some video. This is where you can add some music, such as a podcast. And you can even add media. That would include things like PDFs or something like that. So this is going to be your title, right? So sale on goldfish. Whoop. And, right, we want to put in a orange goldfish, right? We put in a post here. We can also put in some formatting, just right here like this. We can put it something like that. Now, this permalink, that's going to be the actual address. Yours may show phone number dash or a prefix dot Swift Web Designer. Ignore that prefix plus Swift Web Designer. That's just where the code lives, but it doesn't mean it's actually going to be yourdomain.com. So that entire section at the beginning is going to be yourdomain.com/sale on goldfish. Now, let's say you don't like that. Let's say you want it to be just goldfish. No worries. Just hit edit and change it. And you just click OK. I'm using Chrome here, by the way. I do recommend Chrome or Firefox over Internet Explorer. You just go to google.com/Chrome. Now, there's a bunch of different things here in the middle. This stuff can really be, for the most part, ignored. The excerpt will be shown on certain summary pages. So remember how I showed you the FAQ page? That's where that summary shows. That gives you a sort of one-page listing of a bunch of different items. Anyway, that's what's going to show on that little excerpt. So that's typically a short summary, just like it says. Trackbacks, if you don't know what that is, just ignore it. Custom fields, if you don't know what those are, just ignore them. In fact, I'm going to close them here. One thing that I do recommend that you pay, and I've got a bunch of different plugins here because we're highly attentive to search engine optimization. You don't necessarily need to be. If you've upgraded to some of our search engine optimization videos, we may tell you to turn on and off certain things like that. That's optional, of course. And if you know what they are, then feel free to use them. This is pretty important. This is pre-installed for everybody, and this is what's going to show in Google. Now, this section right here, this is pretty important. This is what's going to show in Google. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this title here. This down here is actually going to override this one up here. So it's technically duplicate, but I always put it in both places anyway, because this is going to affect up here how you see it in the user interface. So these should generally be the same. This is what people are going to see when they're on your website. So in this case, this page is called Websites. This is called, this has no title. So it's actually just got the site design title, which is bad for search engine optimization, but that happens to be our homepage. So it works. Anyway, right here, this is the page title, right? And then this is the site title. And so point being is if I put in Auto Mechanic website template, that is what's going to show on Google, just like this. So this would correspond to this. This text here comes from, whoops, stay on this page, it comes from right here. So this is 141 characters. Google shows roughly 160 characters. It's usually a little bit shorter because it's also showing the date, right? So Google prefers newer content. So if you, it's much better if you consistently update your website 2 or 3 times a week, for example, than if you blog 6 times a day and then you stop. It's better to just be consistent. So Google, it tells Google that your website is maintained and therefore the content is more likely to be accurate. This is where we could also put Auto Mechanic marketing, for example, website design, something like that, right? You just put a comma between each keyword. And that's used for Bing and Yahoo still. I think Google is probably actually going to bring it back. They were ignoring it for a while, but I recommend it in there as well. I think that it does play into the mix. So I'm going to later delete this page, but nonetheless, that's how you add a blog post. Again, you don't need to take action. I just want to give you the overview here. So what you want to do is make sure that your categories are set up. If you have a featured image, certain templates and certain website designs will have an image set with it. This is where you would do it. You would just click this and it's going to bring up right? And you just hit choose file, find your image, click upload. We actually have two different browser uploaders. We have the Flash uploader, and this is how you would do that. In this case, every once in a while it seems to hang here, and this is a WordPress bug, I guess, or it could be just a page load error. If that happens, no worries, you just click on Media Library. It'll show me the icon that I just uploaded right here. Click Show, and click Insert into Post, right? And you can choose the size. You could resize it if you wanted to. You can also set some alignment options. You can play with those sort of things. This is important for search engine optimization. Again, ideally, when we are working on a page to get the maximum search engine value out of it, we would put that information in. Anyway, we just click Insert into Post. In this case, what it's going to do is just drop it right into the post, like so. It's a little sized a little strange. Now, if you're using one of the image-centric themes, we've got different types of pages. You may also at sometimes want to use as featured image, right? So if you are using image-centric, look for that button, Use as Featured Image, and you just click it right there. I'm not going to do it here. If you don't know what this is, ignore it. Tags, that can be very useful, right? So it would just put in goldfish and then hit Add. This is useful for search engine optimization. I do recommend that you use it. And then I also recommend that you would put in categories. Categories, by the way, can be incredibly powerful. So we did a recruiting firm website, for example, and what we do is we put in different city names, and this allows you to search for certain jobs in a certain city or in a certain job sector or with a certain license or professional requirement or years of experience required. And what we do is we just make different categories and subcategories. So we put in downtown Los Angeles as a subset of Southern California as a subset of California, right? So categories can be useful and powerful, and then you can add that to the navigation. You can search within categories, that kind of thing. Now, because this is a post, you don't have any control over the page template. So if you hear me referencing page templates and you can't find it, it's because it's a post. Now, the upside of the posts is those get RSS syndicated. So what that means is on the website, you see this all over the web, that's because this is available to readers. Now, this can be powerful for search engine optimization, and it can be useful for you to get pingbacks and for content syndication as a way to get other people linking to your site. So if you write great articles, then I recommend doing those as posts, and they will help your ranking. Google technically is going to recognize duplicate content, but it's worth a note. Okay, so let's move on to gallery. I just want to show you what a gallery is, first of all. Here's a gallery, and there are lots of different types of galleries that you can do. Here's another example of a gallery, and in this particular example, we've got something that's very interesting. Now, humans very much prefer pictures and videos. Google very much prefers text. So the challenge is, if you have a page that you don't add any text to, humans might love it, but Google's not going to show it. So what we've done is some really crafty code to combine text and the gallery, and that's really important. That was thousands of dollars worth of code that you have basically included in your system. So in this case, you can click on any of these, and you can see the before and after photos, and that can be useful for certain types of images, or if you wanted to show before and after of what you did, especially if you sell services, for example, landscaping, right? This might be useful to show the yard before and after. We have permission to use these photos, right? So let me show you how to do that. So first thing you need to do with galleries is you need to have a category. Now this description, in this case, right here, all this text right here comes from this description right here. And so that's why you see this page looking kind of long, and we've got different types of galleries. We do a lot of different types of work for clients, right? So we've got a website gallery. So while aesthetics are important, right, that information is coming from right here. Now, you also can just generate it and just leave it blank. So in the case of Dr. Bruno, this information can be combined with a post type or a page type. So what you do is first, choose a category or two. Then what you do is just go to Add New and give it a title. So in the case of eyelid surgery, that information would come from right here. You can give it a subtitle, right? So that's going to show within the actual box. That's right here. So in this case, it happens to be a duplicate of the page title, but that's where that information is coming from. And then you can also set the rollover image. So what I typically will do is I will just open this in a new tab, and I will add in the after, and then I will here set featured image. Remember, before I was setting featured image. So when you do that, make sure and remember, this is where you need to not Don't click Insert into Post, click Use as Featured Image, and that's going to insert it right here. You'll see a little thumbnail image, and then you just copy and paste the actual URL. If you just click on Media, you'll see a page like this, and you just go in here, just click in there, and then hit Control-A for Select All, Control-C for Copy, and I go back to the page, and I hit this as the rollover, and I just hit Control-V to paste that image in here. You could also put a video in here if you wanted to, and you've got, of course, your categories over here. If you don't click a category, it won't appear. So that's a common mistake that people make. I even make it on occasion. If I'm working late at night or something, I'll just forget to click a category, wonder where my image is, and of course it doesn't show up. So that's enough about the gallery. The media section we sort of covered. Links I'm not going to get into because it's pretty simple. Let's talk about pages. Now, every website will have a bunch of pages. This is our own site, so we've got 79 pages here. So you'll probably have 4 or 5 pages there, something like that. We preload a system for you so that you've got a good basic website to start from. Anyway, any of these pages, just go ahead and click edit. You're not going to ruin anything. You're not going to mess anything up. So here we can get to double your business. I can alternate between HTML and visual mode, right, just by clicking these tabs. If you have multiple languages pre-installed in this system, you may see multiple languages, so you can click between English and Spanish or English and Russian or whatever it is here, and you'll also see 2 different titles. Now, this is where I mentioned the template. We do have a couple different types of pages, and the types of pages is defined by what you want the page to do. If you want a custom contact page, that's going to, for example, add a Google map automatically. Debt calculator, that's obviously only of value to people that are in the debt settlement industry. The galleries page can be kind of useful if you wanted to make a gallery. Here's an example of an iPad form. These are manually created, something that might be something you want to add down the road. And you can replace that dusty old clipboard with a snazzy new iPad, so when somebody walks into your office, or in this case onto your auto mechanic lot, you can just hand them an iPad and they can fill all this information out and submit it online and show them a little commercial, and it's just one more way to wow the customer. It also triggers a bunch of automation automatically. So it also goes into the CRM automatically, so you don't have to retype all that information. So that's an option. This is the image-centric example. So each page needs to fit within this box, and then it'll scroll if it doesn't, and it has a featured image. So some of these custom page types, I'm not going to show you every single one of them, but there's a bunch of different types, and over time we continue to add more that are industry specific or in response to what a client wants to happen, and this is to some degree where you can do that. Parenting is basically the same as grouping, right? So notice we've got a bunch of things we've got search engine optimization parented to help, and we've got subpages within that. We also have some options regarding publishing, so if we wanted to password protect it, this is where you would do that. You would just go up here. You can change things to pending review or a draft. Let's say you want to work on a page, but you're not ready to go live with it yet. That can be useful to pending review or draft, whatever the case is. You can also set a publication date. So if you wanted to automatically publish a new blog post to go up on Friday, and you feel like writing it on Tuesday, then go ahead and do that. By the way, you may see things look like this. Go ahead and click this button. It'll give you a few more options, and you can do things like formatting. So then notice this changes to formatting. There's bullet points right here, so you just click that. Anyone who's familiar with Microsoft Word or Google Docs or anything like that will be used to seeing these buttons. This is a way to embed video. You can also, again, use this. You can also just simply put the actual YouTube URL unlinked, make sure it's not linked or anything, and it will work. You can just drop it right into the page. A underused feature that's really nice for people who like to write, for people who like to blog, is just this feature, full screen mode. And it just allows you to really focus on what you're writing and have a nice clean workspace. So comments is useful if you want to get a discussion going with your clients. I'm not going to really go into it because it's pretty straightforward and it works pretty much like you expect it to. Next, under appearance, we're going to simplify this and change it so that we're going to move some of the appearance functions up here. And anyway, the only thing that you're going to really probably want to touch in here is the widgets and the menus. So first off, what are widgets? Widgets are everything down here. These are all drag and drop widgets that you can move in. This entire section on this sidebar, these are all widgets, and this form is a widget. This is actually an in-content widget. So when you first open this widgets page, you will probably see something that looks like this. Go ahead and just mouse down any of these arrows, and you'll see a bunch of little things, and what you can do is just drag this right over there into it. I don't want to do that because I don't want it there. But these images, this is where this is coming from. So the smiling lady with the headset phone, there she is. Notice that I have no title in this case, and that's on purpose. And I also have this linked consciously. So when you set in the picture, you'll need to make sure that that's defined. The Swift form is remarkably easy. It is simply the number from Swift CRM. We've got a whole video on forms. And so if you have any questions, all you need to drop in is the title, right? So this comes from this little section here. So this obviously comes from the title, right? And then we just drop in the form. And that way that we have a drag and drop sort of form editor within Swift CRM. You also see some of the footer widgets, right? So some of those choices at the bottom are way down here. By the way, in a moment I'll touch on where to edit this, right? Your Facebook integration. You can also turn on Facebook integration and add that to the sidebar if you want to add more functionality, right? So in this case I've got a Facebook like button, right? I've also got this is called OneWire. Those are all plugins. So let me get to that in a moment. In the menu, we've got a whole video about the menu system, but what the basic idea is you can just drag and drop anything at any time. And you can indent it and what you see there. So just like you see these items indented, on services we've got these sub-menu items just because they're indented. You have to make sure that this is connected, right? And it is possible in some themes that you'll have multiple menus. It does happen. If you've got a split navigation like this, then you may actually have two widget items. So it might say left side, right side here. In this case, in the case of Swift, I only have one navigation. It's just a top navigation. So you get the point. You can add categories. You can add galleries. Categories, so for example, the FAQ, frequently asked questions, that's how that was added. And that way it dynamically updates. So every time I add a new frequently asked question, it automatically appears in this list, and I don't have to go and update the page or anything. It just automatically happens. This is all your categories of your posts. In terms of the themes and the background and the header and stuff like that, ignore all of that. It's going to get removed shortly. We've got currently over 119 plugins. We maintain these all for you, so you won't have to do anything with it. I'm definitely not going to go through all these plugins, but this is where you find them, is just in the plugins section. Some plugins have settings that appear right under plugins. Most of them appear under settings. Tools you're generally going to stay out of. You don't really need anything in there unless we tell you specifically. However, settings you'll want to use. So in this case, notice I put my phone number as the tagline, but you may want to put something about your business. This is also where you can set things like time zone options and American English versus British English or whatever language you're in. You can set those types of things. You can play with all this. You're not going to probably break anything. All of this is covered in videos if needed or specific emails. But if you don't know where to find something, that would probably be a good place to look. These things were specific plugins that were added under the plugins section, so I'm not going to really cover those. Last, I want to touch on Swift CMS. There's only a couple pages, sections that you want to really pay attention. One of them is this, right? So you might want to if you change your company phone number, this would be a good place to look. This is the Google verification code for Google Apps. I verified a different way, so I don't have it here. But you can put your company name in, stuff like that. The entire look and feel of your website, most of it is frankly right here. So if you wanted to put the phone number up in the top right, for example, like that, that would be, but be careful because this section has the ability to ruin your website. So if you want to change the header slideshow, this would probably be where you're going to do that. You're going to click on header image slider and you'll just select your images here. You do have a few different choices. You can set the timing. You've got some choices as to what it looks like and even the size and that kind of thing. By the way, I forgot something. I forgot to tell you where to put in the social icons, which people really like these days. And it is powerful. It is a great way for people to connect. So if you want a Twitter icon, and you have your choice of icon sizes. So you can do little ones, you can do big ones, you can do glossy round ones like I have there. Where you're going to go is you're going to go to Swift CMS, General Options. You're going to scroll down towards the footer. You're going to go to Social Icons area. And then you've got a few choices. In this case, you can put your phone number in there. So I've got that phone number over here. And I've got the style choice. So the icon style, we only have one loaded here right now, but there's more if you need it. And this is where you just put in the actual URL of your Facebook page. So for example, or of your LinkedIn page or of your Twitter page. And if you're a restaurant, you'll want Yelp, and you could, especially Foursquare, those type of things. Pop-up message is generally used for landing pages. Category view is used for search engine optimization, meaning if you look at this is a category view, right? So it's category, it's all the help files. So what I could do is optimize that page a little better, and the galleries, we talked about that. Gatekeeper is for content, for under construction mode, and also for password protection and content capture mode and stuff like that. Site-wide disclaimer: if you're a financial planner and you require a disclaimer before somebody gets to your website, this is how you would do that. I've given you a lot of information here, and my goal wasn't for you to take notes. It was just to give you a really good overview of the system in general. And so hopefully I've done that. Now you can, down the road, rewind the video to the parts that you see, or just check the help section, check the support center, and find the videos that you're looking for based on the specific topic. Thanks for watching, and if anything's beyond you, then contact our team through the support system, and we will refer you to the appropriate media, and if media needs to be created, we'll create it for you and help you get where you want to go. Make it a great day.